Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be making a beat on the MPC Live Mark II. I actually have a few workflow videos on the MPC 1, but I don't feel like I have enough on the MPC Live Mark II. Same machine, just a different layout. So if you're rocking with either or, you're going to have fun right here. So make sure you guys stick around and let's have a good time. If you're new to this channel, we talk a lot about beat production, just beat making workflow videos, especially on the MPC, but you're also very welcome if you're rocking with any other machine. These are still very useful just conversations we have in this channel, so feel free to stick around if you enjoy this content. The signal flow of this setup right here, I'm coming stereo out of my MPC into this stereo compressor, coming out of this compressor into the analog heat, and then going straight to you guys. The reason why I have these two devices is because it's enhancing my workflow. Do not feel like you need to have this in your workflow. I'm not trying to sell you on anything or make you spend any more money, but this is very useful for me because I'm not mixing my beats in post. I'm just making these videos and I want to make sure you have the best experience. And these two units have been very powerful when it comes down to giving my stereo mix a quick master, and it sounds really, really good. This small compressor is awesome. I actually have a video specifically on this compressor coming out very soon. All right, so let's get back to what's important. And if I do recommend one piece of gear that you do need to have in your setup, is going to be the MPC. That is something you need to get if you do not have already, because this is just the workstation that this is all you need right here. All right, so right here I have a blank setup or a blank template. I'm gonna actually go in right here on my browser. A big shout out to Sam Poetry. If you guys have not seen his interview I did on my channel, go ahead and check it out. But I got a sample pack by Sam Poetry right here, is Poetic Crates and Poetic Breaks. He's got some awesome samples right there that you guys can start chopping up if you do not have access to hundreds of records. This guy right here just has so many awesome records that he sampled and just kind of grabbed some awesome gems for us and put it in a sample pack. So I'm going to be going through his sample pack. Yeah, these are all records that he has collected over a few years. So there's so much. So if you're someone that wants that vinyl sound but does not have access to records around you, pick up Poetic Breaks and Crates, which there's a lot of stuff right here. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna load that up. I'm definitely feeling that right there, just more like of a mellowed vibe. I already loaded up into my MPC. I'm gonna chop up that sample. I'm gonna go into my sample editor and I'm gonna go from trim into chop mode. If you have not watched my previous video, there's, I don't know what's going on right here on 2.11. As a matter of fact, I love 2.11. That update has been my favorite, but there's this minor bug that is just a little annoying. I'm gonna drop my first slice and it's gonna drop my slice at a random location. Even if it's in a random location, drag that over to the 0 start point. Once you drag that over, you could go ahead and start slicing up your chops like we're used to before 2.11. One thing, a quick tip right here, if you guys do not know about 0 snap, if you hit Shift 0 snap, that's actually going to help you to get rid of clicks and pops. So if you're nudging over your start point, the MPC will do its best to select your start point or your locator at the beginning of a 0 line, so there's no clicks or pops. It's hot. I'm over here dripping sweat. All right, man, let's do this. Right now, we're gonna create a new program with these chops. Now we have program right here with our chops. All right, so once we got that out the way, and please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions. There is no dumb questions, so do not feel embarrassed to ask any question. Let me know down in the comments, and if I cannot get to you, I'm sure somebody else in this community will respond to you. Everybody's been super helpful here, so big shout out to everybody that's subscribed to this channel. Everybody's really cool, so make sure you guys ask questions if you're still confused on that section. What I do usually in this step, I just try to vibe out and see what feels good to me. right, so see, I'm feeling these two chops, pad 1 and 2 on bank A, and then when I go on bank B, I'm feeling these other two chops. The only way I'm getting a feel for this is by just, you know, playing around with this and have fun with this. That's so cool. Now, right there, I'm at 2 bars on this sequence. I'm going to go from 2 bars to 4 bars because I don't want to be looping that same loop over and over. I already know that's going to be my first 2 bars that I'm going to loop, but now I want to figure out what I'm going to do on the last 2 bars. If I want to stick to this pitch, or if I want to go to my program editor, I want to drop this down about 2 semitones. So let's see how this sounds with minus 2 semitones. So there's so much going on right here. Everything feels right to me. I actually like going into bank B. These last 2 chops up here, they got like some bells right there. I really like that as my last bar. I'm already kind of constructing the beat in my head. This is the thing. There's 2 things going on. There's the technical side, and then there's the creative side. On my creative side, I'm making all these beats in my head. I'm like, yo, this would sound cool. But then what gets in between my creative side is this technicality where I'm like, all right, well, now this is stopping me because I don't understand certain things here and I cannot execute on my ideas. Well, I'm going to do my best to help you execute on those ideas, at least showing you how I would go about this. All right, so we already know that on my first bar, like I'm already digging this. On bank A, I got these 2 pads. And then I jumped to bank B with pad 7 and 8. A real quick update again on this update that we have. Now to change your pad colors, you could hit this little pencil icon. Now it's going to be on the pencil icon. It's no longer on the menu. You will not find that. I go on this little pencil icon. You'll see pad colors and go from velocity all the way to brightness and from all pads to single pads. I'm a big fan of coloring your pads because that helps me navigate through and know where everything's at. So I know my first bar is going to be these 2 pads. So I'm going to color these purple, 1 and 2. And then on bank B is going to be 7 and 8. And then on my second verse, or on my second 2 bars is going to be, I'm going to color those red. I'm going to do these last 2. These are my hot pads right here, the ones that are colored. Bank A is this 1 and 2. And then bank B is going to be 7 and 8 and 15 and 16. Again, I'm just organizing myself. You don't have to do this, but I really love coloring my pads because, again, it gets me a little more organized, especially when I'm banking through. Right now, I don't know what tempo it is. I'm just going to tap this out. And as I'm hitting every single pad, I'm going to hit this tap button right here, and it's going to tap out the tempo for me. Let's try 65. It should be close enough. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I have this set to 4 bars. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down. All right, so right there we have something going on already. I'm feeling where it's headed. Now I'm gonna load up some drums. I'm gonna go into my drum programs, my sample pack. I'll actually leave a link down in the description if you guys are digging these drum shots that I have going on right here. Make sure you guys go ahead and support. Also, I'll be leaving a link down to Sam Poetry sample pack. So if you guys wanna go ahead and check out his samples, link down in the description. I'm actually gonna go ahead and create some mute groups because this open hat and this kick, I want that to cut each other off. I'm gonna go into my program editor, and then once I'm on my program editor, I'm gonna hit this little droplet icon, and then I'm gonna go to multiple. So I wanna select multiple pads. I'm gonna select all my kick drums, and then I'm gonna select all my open hi-hats, which is actually just this one right here. Hit close. And once I have that opened up, I'm gonna put those on mute group number 1. So now that those are in mute group number 1, if I hit the open hat and then the kick, it's gonna cut each other off. All right, so I kind of have a feel of the type of kick and snare hi-hat that I want to go ahead and lay down right here. I'm going to go ahead and lay down my drums. I'm not a finger drummer. If you guys have been following this channel, my rhythm naturally is not the business. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down one by one. All right, so I have a groove going on with my drums. I go as far as getting comfortable with this grid editor. Like I go really deep into this grid editor. I could grab this little pencil icon and just add some kicks if I actually feel like it needs a little more work to this sequence right here. And I'll actually start nudging certain notes around. So like I just kind of have fun with this grid editor, get really comfortable with it, know how to move around it. I'm actually gonna grab this hi-hat, use a note repeat, put it at 1/32, and just drop in a few of those different hi-hats on top of this every now and then. All right, so at this point, I'm actually want to bring in this JHS box, and I did a video on this box, but man, do not feel like you need to incorporate these pedals into your workflow, but it's just been so fun to throw some of these pedals into this workflow because it just sounds so good. Like it sounds really good. This is why I want to make this video, because with the MPC Live Mark II, you can go this far and start incorporating some of these pedals. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and connect this JHS. I'm going to come out of outputs 3 on the MPC, and then going into this JHS pedal, and then coming out of this JHS pedal into inputs 1 on the MPC. Now, the way I'm gonna route my signal is I'm gonna go ahead and go into my drum track, which is right here. I'm gonna open up this eyeball icon. And when I open up that eyeball icon, here's your input and then here's your outputs. I'm gonna select my outputs. Right now, my outputs are coming out of outputs 1 and 2 on the back of the MPC. That's what it says right here. If I click that, I can go from outputs 1 and 2. I don't want that drum program to come out of 1 and 2 anymore. I want that drum program to come out of outputs 3, which is right here. That drum program is a mono signal. All my drums in my sample pack are mono, so I don't need 2 cables. I just need 1. I'm gonna hit that, and now if I hit play, I'm not gonna hear these drums anymore. The reason why I'm not hearing those drums is because those drums are now coming out of output 3. It's coming into this box and then coming out of this box back into the MPC. If I go into my sampler, I'm gonna go into inputs 1 and 2 and select, instead of 1 and 2, I'm only going to select inputs 1 because I'm only using inputs 1 on the back of the MPC, and I'm going to make sure that this signal, and it's not stereo, I want to make sure it's set to mono because it's a mono signal. Now, if I turn on this monitor input, if I hit play, I'm going to be hearing these drums coming into the MPC. Let's go ahead and hit play and see what we have. All right, so now we're hearing the signal going into this JHS and coming back in. That's what you guys are listening to. This is actually really cool because now you can start incorporating. Again, you don't need this stuff, but you're gonna hear right now that this is really badass to be able to incorporate some outboard gear because it just does something different to your signal, and I cannot explain it until you experience it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and process this really quick. All right, so as you can hear the A and B right now, for any of you audio nerds, I am matching the volume levels. So what's coming out is what's coming in. As you guys can see the metering right here, it's matching fair enough. So it's not just, oh, it sounds louder. No, it feels like it sounds louder, but it's not louder. It's still the same volume, but it's just adding a little bit of more treble, some highs, some mids, some bass, just pushing the preamp a little harder than usual, so it's distorting very soft, which this distortion makes it feel like it's adding some crunch to the sound. And it's popping out of the speakers a little more than usual, which sounds and feels like if it's louder, it just punches through a little bit better. I'm a big audio nerd, so somebody like me finds a lot of benefits with the MPC Live Mark II if I want to later on start running separate outputs into a different outboard gear coming back into the MPC. This is powerful. Now, again, I keep forgetting that now with the 2.10 update, you could put an interface to your MPC one. So essentially you could do it with an interface, but still, this is just a box, no interface, just one box right here. This is what I'm working with. I'm loving what I'm getting from just incorporating small guitar pedals, different compressors. This has been a fun setup, especially for somebody that just does not want to deal with plugins and software. If you're that person that's like, man, I don't want to touch no computer, right here what you see on this desk, not counting this JHS box, this is optional, but just being able to have your MPC, a stereo bus compressor, and an analog heat. I mean, again, you don't technically need these two boxes, but they are very, very good to have. This is just your whole mixing, mastering chain that you'll need, and just print your beat and you're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I know it probably went a little too long, but peace, much love to everybody. I hope you all have a blessed day.